All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and the glory unto Yahawah, Bashem, YAHAWASHI, Bashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and unto the elders, a great millstone, GMS, who taught me this truth. And honors to the brethren in the Akim that's pushing out this truth with all sincerity and in faith. And to Wadi Yahweh, Bashem, YAHAWASHI, for allowing me to come back with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be Trust in Him at All Times. And, this is just coming from a lesson that I was watching earlier today, concerning, or was watching a couple brothers before they were going to camp, and they just said some things that resonated with me, in terms of like, when you're going through stuff or, you're going through some hell, you still just got to trust in the Lord no matter what. And, and sometimes when you're going through stuff, if you want an answer, sometimes you'll need a fast or something around those lines, and then you'll get your answer, and through prayer and supplication as well. But no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter what situation that we may find ourselves in, we have to trust in Him at all times. We have to trust in Him no matter what, no matter how tough things get, no matter how bumpy the road may get along the way. We gotta trust in Him, because you become blessed when you trust in the Most High. Let me start here through the Spirit. Psalms 2:12. Kiss the Son lest he be angry, and go. And it says, and ye perish from the way. And when it says, and when his wrath is kindled but a little, blessed are all they that put their trust in Him. You see that? So you become blessed when you trust in the Most High, when you trust in Yahweh Bashem YAHAWASHI. Psalm 7:1. It says, O Lord, my power, in Thee do I put my trust. You see that? So we got to put in our trust, or put our trust in the Most High all the time. And it says, and save me from all of them that persecute me, and deliver me. And that's what we want. Because, hey, there will be that time where, some of us men will be persecuted, and will be brought before the kings and rulers of this world for a testimony against them. For whose sake? For Yahweh Bashem YAHAWASHI's sake. What is this? 17, I want to say. Nope. There's another one in, I believe it's Psalms 9, I want to say. Or it might be 19. This one's good. Let's read this. Psalms 18 and verse 1. And it says, and I will love Thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. See, so in David speaking now, because this is a psalm of David, but he's letting it be known what the Most High is to him and is for him. And he said the Most High was his fortress, his rock, his deliverer, his power, his strength, and that's whom he's going to put his trust in. And that's what we got to do. We have many countless examples of the disciples, men of the Most High, the prophets, of them putting their trust in the Most High. Such as, we go and you go to our forefather Abraham. For him to go and to the point where was it? He went to Mount Moriah, I believe, in the book of Genesis, and he was going to sacrifice his son Isaac. And that took faith and also trust in the Lord. To take your son, that takes some trust. That takes some strength. It takes some faith. You got our forefather David, in whom, he was going through some hells himself. Yet nevertheless, he trusted in the Lord. Look at our forefather Job. He was catching a lot of hell, to the point where he cursed the day wherein he was born. And he wished that, pretty much in a sense, or in a small, in small or short words, he wished that day in which he was born and never came. He wished pretty much everything that was bad upon that day, That's how much hell he was catching. Yet, nevertheless, he trusted in the Lord. He trusted in him. And he said he would trust in him. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. And that takes a lot of faith, a lot of trust, and integrity. Because you had not only just his children were taken from him, his cattle and everything of that nature. He also had his his wife, come up against him, pretty much talking shit. Yet even in that, he still maintained his trust. He still maintained his faith. He still maintained his integrity in the Most High, in YAHAWASHI. And that can't be any different for us. Because he's the one that's going to help us. He's the one that's going to redeem us. Psalms 34:22, the Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that put their trust in him shall be desolate. You see that? Psalms 18 or 33 and 18. Behold, the eye of the Lord YAHAWASHI is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Because those are the things in which are going to be coming upon the earth. Great famine, which will lead to great death. And it says, our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. See that? And those are the names we're going to put our trust in. The name of Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashai. And it says, and let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. And that's who we're going to have our faith, our trust, and everything in. The Most High, YAHAWASHI. Proverbs 3 and 5. Oh, Salakia. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. And it says here, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not upon thine own understanding. See that? And it says, and in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. See that? And that's what we want to do. We want to acknowledge our power, give everything that we have into our power, and lean not to our own understanding, but let, Yahawah take the wheel, so to speak. Acknowledge him so that he directs our path, and that he leadeth us in the path of righteousness. For whose sake? For his name's sake. Just as David said. He said, he leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And pretty much what was I gonna say? One chapter that comes to my mind when it comes to certain topics such as having your trust in the Most High, your faith in the Most High, so on and so forth, is in this chapter in the book of Ecclesiastes. Because this here it tells you everything, pretty much what you need to do, and just in very few, verses, because it's not that big of a chapter. So let's start from the top. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 1, and it says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, it says, prepare thy soul for temptation. And that's right. So we got to prepare ourselves for anything and everything. Okay. And it says, verse 2, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Meaning, don't get worried when times and things get hard. Just have your trust in the Most High. Because that's all that we really truly can do. And that's what it's really truly going to come down to is, do you trust in the Most High? Do you believe in him? Do you have your faith? Is your faith firmly rooted in him? Verse 3, it says, cleave unto him, meaning to call upon him. And it says, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to the lower state, meaning, learn to love, pretty much like Elder Apostle Tahar says, pretty much learn to love to suffer. Be patient when you're brought down low. Be patient when you're going through something. Just know that at the end of the day, as it says in the book of Romans 8:28, it says what? We know that all things work to the good to those that love him. As long as we continue to do his will and love him and fear him and, do those things that are pleasing in his sight, we're going to be okay. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to try us. That doesn't mean he's not going to test us. Because without being tested, we're not going to be made purified. Sometimes us brothers, we go through certain things just so that it can make us stronger. You can't get any strength without resistance. You can't get any strength without going through stuff, by being broken down. Just like how when you work out, you breaking down your muscles so that they could heal and come back and be bigger and stronger. And that's what the Most High does with us. We're that gold, which is spoken of in the book of, or the same book, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. See that? It says, verse 6, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. You see that? So if we believe in our power, he's going to help us. Okay? And if we order our way aright, and at the end of the day, as it says, trust in him. He that fear the Lord wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. See, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? And the answer to those questions is not a one. It says, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time, and saveth, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Woe be unto fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinners that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? And that's what can you do, really? Those of you that turn your hand to the plow, those of you that look back, you're gonna be met by the Lord, but he's not gonna visit you in no he's gonna visit you. It's gonna be an unpleasant visit, because he ain't coming to reward you handsomely. He's coming to reward you for turning his back on him, which that reward is no good thing. And it says, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well-pleasing unto him. And it says, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts, meaning their minds, for what? For the times to come. The time of Jacob's trouble, the time of the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. See that? As our powers judgment are, such as his mercy. As great as his judgments may be, he still has a great level of mercy. And we see that. We see that upon his men. Because they do what? His will. And they fear him. And they that fear him, the scriptures talk about in Luke 1:50, it says, they that fear him, or how does it go? And his mercies upon them that fear him from generation to generation. And that's what those that fear the Most High, love Him, and keep His ways have the mercies bestowed upon them, just as it was from generation upon generation to generation. Okay. But, that's pretty much what I wanted to touch upon. Just trust in the Lord, brothers, no matter what. Give your all unto Him, and He'll do He'll fulfill His part. As long as we do what we're supposed to be doing, He's going to take care of us. Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and all these things shall be added unto you. All right. So I pray this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting. As always, I'm going to give all praises to YAHAWASHI, and it's on to the next one, Akim. Shalom.